Thanks for your company. The details now. A Class 2 pupil of a school in Kaswa is unable to walk for weeks after she fell off a table as she tried to flee from her class teacher, who was allegedly inserting his fingers into her vagina. The 9-year-old girl says she fears her dream of becoming a nurse is fading away as her parents race against time to raise money for her to undergo treatment at the Winneba General Hospital. Maxwell Agbagba has more.
Na apumo musa monko amma me shisho na madam fubaku na mi se on chem yes yes onge amma ne chem inti me chiro na oba mi chem aduni sa ba fifa mi timi se me papa said dem pebia man inti me fini me chiro na fa mi ko to madam bi ni table ni so ni sa shisha mas na me yanti me play me se me jan ti me ya sana me play me na me sisi ko bo e kunya ba ko na ntofu na mi sole na mi ni na ni jan bi na mi so se me ka man.
So that's the young girl there narrating her very sad ordeal to my colleague Maxwell, but he joins me in studio. So Maxwell, for the benefit of those who don't understand the language she's spoken, can you just explain what that young girl was telling you?
Well, she was talking about how she went to school, vacation classes, and from the point where she started, she said when they got to the school, class had already ended. So her teacher, her class teacher actually told her to wait so that he can take her through what she had, missed. So the class teacher took her to another classroom, and that was the point when he started rubbing his hands in her hair, and then told her, the victim, and that his father has asked him, the class teacher, to provide his needs, for her. Just when he was saying that, he lifted her, put her on a table, and then started inserting his fingers in her genitals. She said it was painful, so she started struggling with her class teacher. In an attempt to flee from him, her pelvic bone hit one of the tables. She fell on the floor, got up, and then ran with her younger sister home.
Okay. This teacher who is alleged to have done this to the young girl, have we heard from him? Any reaction from his side? Yes,
we tried getting some reaction from him yesterday. In fact, after speaking to the victim and then her mother and then the grandfather, we proceeded to the suspect's home, but we did not, meet him at home. So what we did was to call him, and then it was the wife who answered the call, and the wife told us that they are at a location where they do not think that we'll be able to, find our way there. So we said, okay, just give us the directions. We'll come over and then come and, hear your side of the story. She said, no, that is not possible. So we told her that, okay, we can get her explanation via the phone. She said that was not possible, and then she dropped the call. Subsequent calls to her actually went unanswered. Then from there, we proceeded to the Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit of the Ghana Police Service, the Kaswa Police Station. When we went there, it was confirmed to us that indeed there's a case like that they are handling. The officer who was in charge of the case was tight-lipped. She would not give us any further details. She told us that her superior is attending a training program in Accra, and that we should call her and then get the details from her. We tried calling her, a lot of calls and text messages to her also went, unanswered as of this time.
But has the family been telling you anything about this suspect? For example, has he visited their home? What relationship did they have with him prior to this?
Well, they had a very close, relationship with the suspect because he's a victim's class teacher, and their house is just about, the victim's house and then the school is just about, I think, 500 meters apart. So it's just quite like a walking distance. And we're told that when this incident happened, the suspect confessed to the crime. But later when the issue was reported to the police, he started denying, the story. We're told that later when he was granted bail, he visited the victim's home and then gave the victim's parents 50 Ghana cedis to take care.
And who told you this?
Okay, so it was the victim's grandfather who told us this, corroborated by the victim's mother. So they took the 50 Ghana cedis, and the headmaster of the school also presented an amount of 50 Ghana cedis. And so far, that's the only money that they've given to the to the victim. And there were attempts to actually resolve the matter at home. We are reliably informed that the suspect's wife tried many times to get the victim's parents to resolve the issue, at home, but they actually said no, they cannot do that.
Okay, Maxwell, now the biggest concern here is the health of this young girl. When you visited her, she was unable to walk.
Yeah.
What are doctors saying about her health condition?
Well, but documents that we've seen actually stated that, I mean, from her narration, there was no penile, penetration. What we have seen suggests that, okay, so the line from the document that we've seen says partial perforation of the hymen. Okay. And then there were no lacerations, there were no tears as at the time that they checked. But what we'd have to put out there also is that they reported to the hospital 2 weeks after the incident happened, because when the incident happened, the girl was just complaining about a headache, and then she started growing leaner by the day. It was later that the mother took her to the hospital that the nurses alerted her that your child has actually been sexually assaulted. Go back home and find out from her who did that to her. Initially, she didn't want to tell her mother what it was about. It took a third party, a family member, to actually convince her to narrate the story, because the little girl told us that she was scared that her mom would beat her if she narrates her ordeal. So it was later, 2 weeks later, when they reported to the hospital and the tests were conducted, and they realized that she has partial perforated hymen, and then also
a fracture,
a pelvic fracture from the document that I've seen. So she was treated for pelvic fracture, and then she was also treated for UTI, urinary tract infection. Yeah.
Really disturbing story there. And as you mentioned, it is usual for people who've suffered such assaults to not want to tell their family for fear of being punished. So what's the way forward now with regards to the case and getting the girl some support for her health?
Yeah, the way forward now, the family of the girl, they are saying that they are in some kind of financial constraints, because they have been referred to a hospital in Winneba, the trauma center, the Winneba Hospital. That was on the 20th of August, but they've not been able to go to the hospital for further treatment because they do not have the resources, to do that. So as it stands now, the girl is just at home and then, crying daily, waiting for treatment to come.
Thank you very much, Maxwell Agbagba. We'll be following the story keenly.